Hi, lovely. I'm really glad you're here. Welcome back to this podcast episode. If you don't know me, I'm Lila, the host of this podcast, made for everyone out there that is trying to become their best selves and available to listen to you whenever, wherever. And I hope that we can create this comfort space together and make sure to join the Blush and Bloom family if you're new here. So, if you are listening to this right now, I assume that you are feeling lonely. And before we start talking about anything, I just want to say this. I am really glad you pressed play, and I invite you to take a deep breath with me. So, inhale and exhale. Loneliness can feel heavy. It can feel quiet in a way that is not so quiet. It can make you feel like the silence is so loud. And it can also make you question yourself about things that are never meant to be questioned about yourself. But right now, right in this moment, you are not alone. You're with me. Even if it is just through your headphones, even if it's just an audio in your room, we're together right now, and you are not alone. First, let's normalize something. Let's normalize loneliness. We all feel lonely from time to time, whether we live alone or not, whether we have friends or not. We can even feel lonely while being surrounded by people. Loneliness is not something that only weirdos and loners and people who don't have anyone in their life have. Loneliness is something that everyone gets to feel, everyone feels, and you should never feel like I shouldn't be feeling loneliness because I have so many people in my life. That is not true. You can always feel lonely. And if you do feel lonely because you're alone, that is not a shame. That is not something that makes you different, makes you bad. It doesn't say anything about the way you are. Many people feel like if I'm alone and I don't have friends, that's because I'm weird. Trust me, you're not. You are not weird or not friend worthy just because you are alone. So, loneliness is just a human emotion. It is not a reflection of your worth. It does not define if you're lovable or not. And it is not evidence that something is wrong with you. As I said, even the most confident girls can feel lonely. The most social people can feel lonely. Even people in relationships can feel lonely. So, loneliness doesn't mean you failed anything. It just means you're human, and that's what we want to be, right? And sometimes loneliness can occur in certain situations or phases in your life. It can show up when you have outgrown people, you have changed, you have grown apart. It can be when you are in some kind of season where you're transitioning, where you're becoming a new person or becoming a new version of yourself. It can be when you crave something different, you crave deeper connections, for example. But it can also just mean that you're simply tired. And all these things, all these growth seasons, the being tired, the wanting a deeper connection, it can all be isolating and feel like you're alone. But isolation is not the same as abandonment. You are not being abandoned, you are just taking time for yourself to change, to grow. And sometimes loneliness can feel personal. It can feel like I'm only lonely because of myself. I am the one that is making myself feel lonely. Like, why didn't they text me? Why is no one reaching out to me? Why wasn't I invited to this gathering? Why do I always feel like I'm left out, like I'm the extra one? And I want you to hear me clearly right now what I tell you. Other people's behavior is not a measure of your value. It is not. Sometimes people don't realize how they treat others. Maybe it has occurred to you, you don't even know. Maybe you were with a group and you didn't pay much attention to someone just because you were engaged in another conversation. They were just introverted, taking care of themselves, not speaking to you, whatever. And that person might have felt left out and lonely in that moment. And you didn't even realize. And I bet you didn't even want them to feel that way. You didn't want to make them feel like you're not interested in them, like they are alone. It can happen without people realizing. And if you yourself feel left out, the people around you might not be doing it on purpose. They might just not realize it. And You are not too much. You are not boring. You are not forgettable. You are unique the way you are. You are beautiful and amazing. And honestly, everyone that can be with you is so happy, should be so happy and grateful that they can spend time with you, that they do get to know you, that they have you in their life. And sometimes people are distracted, friendships shift, you are evolving faster than your environment, or people are just dealing with their own things. People are often so caught up in their own mind, doing their own thing, that they don't even, as I said, realize that stuff. And that does not make you unwanted, it just makes you growing. Loneliness should not be personal. It is not a personal thing. It does not mean that something is wrong with you. And sometimes getting out on the street and talking to people is not going to solve it, but you can always try. Now, let's shift this gently. We were in this victim mindset and in this like you are suffering from loneliness. That's how we were looking at it, which I totally understand that loneliness doesn't feel like a blessing. It doesn't feel like something to be grateful for. It feels like a burden or like something that you just don't want to have, don't want to feel. But there is always, 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 as someone that always tries to be optimistic, there is always a good side to things. Or even if you don't really think there's a good side, there's always a way to make things better. And what do we do to our life? We romanticize it. And we also romanticize loneliness. We romanticize everything, guys, because that's the way to make things better. By the way, just a little ad for myself. One of my first videos is how to romanticize your life. Make sure to check that out, guys, to become the absolute master at romanticizing everything, even if it is loneliness and solitude. But don't worry, I'm going to tell you how to romanticize it right now. There is a difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness says, I am alone because no one wants me, and solitude says, I am alone and I'm choosing to be alone and I'm choosing to get to know myself. So let's shift from this loneliness. And whenever you feel lonely, think to yourself, this is some solitude time. This is some time that I have for myself. Try to look at it as like solitude instead of loneliness. Because, guys, imagine someone says, like, hey, what were you doing last evening? And you can either say, I was super lonely, I was all alone and I felt so lonely, or you can say, oh, I was just enjoying some solitude. And that person will immediately understand something different. If you say I was lonely, they'll think, like, oh my God, poor person was all alone in their room, depressed. And the other thing, solitude, is like, okay, this person took time for themselves. And obviously, we're not going to lie about our emotions. I'm not telling you to never say you're lonely ever again and always say it's solitude, it's solitude, it's solitude. I'm not telling you to lie to yourself. I'm telling you that when you're just in a moment where you don't want to feel lonely, you don't want this alone, you just don't want loneliness, just turn it into solitude. Because it is quiet time, and this, you might not see it in the moment. The feeling, the experience of being alone might feel bad and sad and tiring in the moment, but it might have a benefit. It might teach you, especially teach you, emotional independence. I love being alone just to learn how to be independent and also to think independently. When you're constantly with someone, I sometimes feel like you can think, you can be your own person because that person says something and you're like, yeah, yeah, I feel that way too. And they are the ones that make you think about a feeling. And I love to be alone and to have the time where I can think to myself, this is what I am feeling right now. No one around me, no one to tell me how they feel, how I should feel, just myself and just no one. That is influencing me in that moment. It is also helping you detach from constant validation. It is normal for us to want validation. We're humans, we have insecurities, we always look for things to improve, we always feel like there is something to improve, and we crave validation and maybe even a little too much, especially with social media where we see people getting validation all the time. You go on Instagram, you see a beautiful woman, the comments full of validation. We always crave that. We don't always get it, especially when you are not a full time model that gets I heart emoji comments and messages all the time, we don't have the validation that we might want. We just don't always get that. Even if you have many friends that compliment you, you just don't always have validation. And it is okay because being alone sometimes helps you detach from that constant validation that you need, not just about your looks. I just talked about looks. It can be about anything, about small decisions, about is that outfit good, about the way you behave, about everything. And being alone, no one can grant you that validation unless maybe you text or call someone. But if you're alone, you make yourself a drink, you don't have the validation, oh, that's a good idea, you should drink that. You get to decide on your own without the influence. And it is important to not have validation all the time because we need to be able to make our own decisions and to like our own things and to be confident with what we choose. You should be confident with what you choose. Okay, if you decided to style your hair like this, it is because I liked it. No one gave me validation. No one told me you should do your wavy curly hair routine and do a slick back, half up, half down. No one told me that. And I didn't look for validation and ask anyone like, is this good? Because I liked it. I decided to do it. And if others don't like it, then that's the way it is. I don't always need validation and you don't always need validation. Even though you might think you do, it is reassuring, it is normal to crave it. It is super important to be able to make decisions and live without without constantly having someone that is saying, yeah, this is good or no, this is not good. It also allows you to build your confidence alone. This is like kind of the thing with the validation I was talking about earlier with social media. You get to be confident in your own. You don't always have someone making you insecure. You don't have someone to compare to look at, to think like, why am I not like that? Why is that and that not like that? You have time to get confident on your own, to be on your own, and also in your own self. It is also kind of with the independence. If you feel independent, you'll automatically feel more confident and more reliable to yourself. Like, I was alone all day. I got ready, I cleaned something, I made myself something to eat. I was alone and I did that. And I'm super confident and proud that I did all that. And I can do anything. It just, when I'm alone, I just feel so confident and independent and like I don't need anyone else. Not that I don't want anyone else in this world, of course not. But like, you just know you are that woman and you can do it. And then last but not least, you create space for better friendships or in general, better relationships. You learn to spend time alone and that way you're a better of a friend. You don't just hang out with people to use them. You don't just hang out with people not to be alone. You hang out with them because you actually want to. It is not like, oh my God, whenever she calls me, I just know she's alone and that's the reason why she goes out with me. No, it's more like she she wanted to go out with me. She took the time to go out with me. I know she likes to be alone, but still she decided to do something with me. So you automatically start working on yourself, which is beneficial for your entire life, for all your relationships in life, because the better you are with yourself, the better you are with other people. The more complex you have with yourself, the more the chance is that you don't treat people right, that you use them without even realizing, that you have them for that validation that you need, that you crave, and also that you put them down. Because we all know it. We all know the saying, for example, when someone bullies you, we always say, oh, that person bullies you because they have their own problems. And we don't want to do that to other people, right? We don't want to be bullies or manipulators or without even noticing unconsciously treating people bad just because we feel bad, just because we don't want to be the only ones having that feeling and suffering that way. So we treat others bad. And if you do have your time alone and you start working on yourself, you're just way better to everyone else. And you cherish being with your friends so much more. And after a certain time, trust me, you will also cherish being alone. And take this from me, I love being alone. I absolutely love it. There's no better thing for me than being home alone. I love going to the city alone. I love going to the gym alone. I love it. I wasn't always that way. I was not always that way. I do not always like interactions with strangers. They sometimes feel awkward. I'm also better at that than I used to be. But trust me, that is something that comes with time. And I know I love it, and I know you will too. Back to what we were talking about, the girl that learns to enjoy her own company becomes unstoppable. So when feeling lonely, Do things for yourself. Transform it into some me time, into some solitude. Take yourself out on a solo coffee date. Try a new bakery, try a new sweet. Go on walks alone with music or a podcast. Mine, just kidding. That makes you feel powerful. Rearrange your room. That is the perfect task to pass time and to be distracted. Rearrange your room. And especially after that, you will feel super confident and independent, strong woman. Just rearrange her room all by herself. And also, you didn't need any validation to decide how to rearrange it. Journal your thoughts. We always love this one. Self reflection. Always becoming better. Keeping in touch with your feelings. Sometimes you need to write your feelings down to actually know that you're feeling them. Do that. Just try to become your own safe place. Because think about it, when you are alone is the one moment, the one time that you can just be yourself. You can do whatever you want because you're not going to judge yourself. You can scream, you can dance weirdly, you can do anything. You can eat the weirdest combination. You can do whatever you want because that is where you can actually be your true self. Because who knows you the best? You know yourself best. You know yourself in and out. You know your thoughts. So don't be ashamed of them. You know your intrusive thoughts. So do them. Like you can just act the way you want. You can behave the way you want to. The way that you would be ashamed to behave even in front of your best friend, even in front of your mother. You can do that when you're alone. You deserve your own presence and you deserve to feel confident and comfortable in your own presence. Now, let's get to some affirmations, some self-worth affirmations. So, as always, I'm going to repeat them twice and then I'm going to give you some time to repeat them in your mind, say them out loud, say them to your mirror, write them down. Okay. I am worthy of deep, meaningful connections. I am worthy of deep, meaningful connections. I am not too much. I am not too much. I am not invisible. I am not invisible. The right people will see me clearly. The right people will see me clearly. I am allowed to outgrow people. I am allowed to outgrow people. I trust that aligned friendships are coming. I trust that aligned friendships are coming. I am becoming more secure every day. I am becoming more secure every day. I enjoy my own company. I enjoy my own company. I am never truly alone. I am never truly alone. Repeat these. Whenever you feel lonely, come to this section in the video and repeat these. Say them out loud, write them down, say them in your mind. You know what we say about affirmations? They do influence your unconsciousness. Trust me. Now, we talked about enjoying your own presence. We talked about loving it, going on a coffee date, seeing the good in it. Yes, but sometimes you just don't want to feel lonely. You just also don't want any solitude. You don't want any of that. You had your solitude enough for today and you're done. Let's talk gently practical. If you are feeling lonely often, if you're tired of feeling this way, let's just do some things not on your own. Because it is okay not to want to embrace everything, not to want to romanticize everything. Just don't worry. I got you. Here are some things to feel less lonely. I know, maybe that's what you've been waiting for. Maybe you've been like, what has she yapping about? But guys, what I said before, it's important for you. It's important for your mind. Trust. Because next time you feel lonely, you'll remember my words and suddenly it will feel not so bad. First one, send the text. Send a text first. If you feel like that person or any person does not text me back and I feel lonely and I want to talk to someone, just text first. If If it's not you texting every single day and they only respond with like, okay, then don't be scared of texting. It doesn't mean you are desperate. It requires courage and you automatically have a social interaction. Not only text but also call. Calling is even better than texting. You can hear the person, you can just talk live. Next one, this is more of a long-term thing. Join something. Join a class. Join a gym. Join a book club or an online community like the Blush and Bloom podcast, where we can always talk. You can always write in there, and we will always listen. I will always listen or read the messages, and all the other girls in the Blush and Bloom podcast group chat will as well. But yeah, join some kind of gym where you get to see people, join some kind of class where you regularly get to see the same people. We all know book clubs. We get our best friends. We can find our best friends in book clubs. It is not just a hobby, a way to pass time. It is a way to spend time with people. And that 1 hour or these 2 hours that you spend with other people are 1 or 2 hours that you didn't have to be alone feeling lonely. And next one, this is more about your mental health. Stop chasing people who make you question yourself. We all have these people in our lives. I would not necessarily call them toxic people. Maybe some of them are, maybe not. Maybe, as I said, they don't do it on purpose. They are not necessarily bad, you're just not on the same wavelength. But if someone makes you feel bad about yourself, makes you question yourself, let go of them. Or not let go, okay, that is easier said than done, but try to distance yourself. If you know, I question myself a lot when I work out with that person because they're so much more physically active than I am, then don't go to gym with that person. Doesn't mean you have to break off the entire friendship. Just don't go to the gym with that person. And this one we already said, pull into your relationship with yourself. I'm not even going to say a lot about this. Next one, instead of going out on a coffee date solo, just go out in general. You will see people on the street, and that will make you feel less lonely. Ask someone to hang out. I know not everyone always has time, and this seems obvious when you feel lonely, but just have the courage to ask. Ask anyone, someone, your dad, your sister, your friend, that one person that you used to go to school with. Text them and ask them, are you ready for coffee? And if they don't have time today, you can go another time. And maybe you can develop an amazing friendship where you won't feel lonely or you will have other people. And this one might sound so stupid. And if you have done this before, then don't listen because otherwise, like, watch Netflix. You will totally forget that you were alone when seeing people on the screen. Last but not least, remember quality over quantity. Just because you have two friends and not 50, it doesn't mean you're lonely when you don't have a lot of friends. Because honestly, one deep connection is better than 10 surface ones. You won't feel fulfilled and satisfied when you have 10 friends that don't actually know you. They don't know what you like, they know your favorite color maybe, but they don't actually know you. I would rather want two friends that actually know me and actually care about me. And if you're at home, let's say it's nighttime and you feel your room feels quiet. The silence is just too loud. Put on soft music. Turn on a small lamp, make tea, and wrap yourself in a blanket. You can also do that during the day. Like turning music on is always a good idea. Making something to drink is always a good idea. And listen to me, you are safe. This feeling will pass, like every feeling does. In the moment, it might feel so strong and feel like it will never end, but like every feeling, this feeling will pass. And you're human, and it is normal for you to feel that. And emotions are waves, they are like waves. You see a big, big wave coming, but you still know in 10 seconds, well, when it comes to feelings, not 10 seconds, it will be gone. Emotions rise, they peak, they soften. You have to live them, you have to let them be and just accept that they are there, even if it's not the emotion that you would desire, that you would choose to feel right now. You will not feel like this forever. And if you feel lonely, you need someone to talk to. Doesn't matter if it is about loneliness or about anyone else. I'm always free to talk, guys. I'm always there for you. You can text me on @that_Lila with 2 A's on Instagram. You can find it in the caption, and I'll gladly talk to you and help you. I'm not a therapist yet, but I always try my best to help people. And one day, you will look back at this version of yourself, the one who felt lonely sometimes, but the one who stayed anyway, and the one who kept growing. And you will be so, so, so proud of her that she kept going, that she decided to listen to a podcast episode that would help her with this, that she embraced the feeling of being alone. You're not behind, you are not unwanted, you are becoming the best version of you. You are blooming. And until your people in your life fully arrive, be gentle with yourself and be there for yourself when you need it most. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't see it as a bad trait. Don't see it as a bad thing. Don't criticize yourself for it. Be gentle with yourself and show yourself that extra love, that extra company that you are lacking. I am so, so proud of you for being here. I am so proud of you for feeling instead of running from them. You are deeply, deeply, deeply lovable. Everyone is. If you're behind the screen thinking, oh, whatever, no, I'm not, you are. Trust me, you are. Every person on this earth is deeply lovable, and I especially know that you are. I mean, you are working on yourself. You are trying to become the best version of yourself, and you will be. And that should be appreciated and will be appreciated. If not by you, if not right now, then in the future, and maybe by someone else. Good night, good morning, good evening. I am always here when you need me. Mwah.